Second is, I do something today, I die. If all those actions which are the causes, they also die along with me, then many of the bad actions will go without results. Will it not go? I do something and they also die along with me. Then they will all go without results. Let it go. It's good. In a way, it's good that I do something bad and they go without a result. Yes, it's good to you, but not to others and the society. The society will suffer because of your wrong deeds. So, Bhagavan has clearly mentioned, there has to be a cause for what you are today, and whatever cause you create today, you will have to take the result tomorrow. If this is true, then I will have to accept birth and rebirth. You can say, why not I experience all the results of all my causes in this birth itself? I can, provided the experience of pain and pleasure are instant and they are very short lived. If an experience, if a result, an award, a reward is only for 10 minutes, then it is possible that I do something good, I enjoy for 10 minutes and my life ends. It's possible. Whereas it is not so. If you are able to build a temple, if you build a temple or if you dig a well, then you can enjoy for 12 years. The Shastra says you will have a very hale and healthy life for 12 years. But if someone digs a well at the age of 81 and he dies in 82, where will he enjoy 12 years? The other way, even you can leave it to lapse. You have a leave that is not reimbursable, encashable, it lapses. You won't bother much. Whereas if it's the other way around, I go kill someone at the age of 81, I should have been punished for 12 years, which didn't happen, I die in 82. What would happen then? I would go without being punished the full term. That's not acceptable. That might happen in this world. If a prisoner dies, then you cannot continue with this punishment. Whereas Bhagavan has the knack of punishing even after death, because he holds the Atma responsible for that. That Atma is born again, again and again. So this is the basis of karma and Sanatana Dharma. Unless we accept, there are two anomalies. One, whatever I am today, there won't be a cause. Two, whatever I do today will go without a result. If these two must be logically proved, then karma, accumulated karma and birth as a result of accumulated karma have to be ever agreed. Let us now conclude this, whatever platform we have to, the introduction. Now come back to Punya, Papa, what pushes us? Who drives us to do a Punya karma or a Papa karma? There is one Vakya in Upanishad. Kapuya charanaha, kapuyam yoni maaparneran. Ramaniya charanaha, ramaniyam yoni maaparneran. Kapuya charanaha, papishta. Ramaniya charanaha, punyatma. If someone does punya, then that gives him a punya birth. If I do papa, it gives me a papa birth. A birth of asura is as a result of papa. Birth as a deva is as a result of punya. It's a very general statement I am making. I am not getting into the specifics of it. Generally, the commonly accepted principle is papam results in papa janma, punyam results in punya janma. That doesn't end there. Although you have taken a papa janma, it doesn't mean that you have to die as a papa janma. Birth is as a papa janma, but death may be different. Vibhishana was a Rakshasa by birth, but he didn't die as a Rakshasa. Although by birth, by jati he was a Rakshasa, by his conduct he was better than a Deva. He was so righteous, he was full of Sattva Guna. Similar is the case with Prahlada. He was born as an Asura. Asura birth might have resulted only by a Papa karma, no other way. Papa results in Asura birth, Punya results in Deva birth. There are many Devas who have conducted bad. Many Asuras who have been very, very good to themselves and to the society and to God. So it is not decided when you are born. It is decided only when you leave. You are born as a result of Papa, but you can't change his life. How to change? Listen to good ones, listen to scholars, read Veda Shastra, read all the Itihasa Purana, mend my way of life and change my whole life, die as a punyatma. If you don't agree to this, suppose you don't agree to this at all, you say, if I am born as a papishta, then I have to die as a papishta. தீவிரவாதிக்கெல்லாம் சொல்கிறோம், terrorists have to die as terrorists. யார் கத்தி எடுத்தானோ கத்தியால் தான் சாக வேண்டும், இதெல்லாம் தமிழில் ரொம்ப நாளாக சொல்லிட்டு இருக்கும். அதனால் அப்படின்றது இல்லை. இஃப் ஸோ, தென் த ஹோல் சாஸ்திரா, the advices of Shastra would be wasted. Shastra says, mend your ways. The quick reply would be, there is no way to mend my ways. I am born bad, I have to die bad. Then where is the question of you prescribing something? Don't write a prescription at all. If it's so that if I am suffering from headache, if I have spondylosis, if I have diabetics, then no way to cure, no way to control, you die. If so, no doctors are needed. I won't go to them, no prescription, nothing, no cure, nothing. Similar is this case. If the Shastras have to be true and their prescriptions must not be wasted, then there must be a theory, a doctrine that if I am born bad, I have a chance to mend. I have a chance to rectify myself and become good. Let us agree to this even. Who pushes me in bad actions? Who pushes me in good actions? Myself. No one else would do that. If someone else can influence you, then all the good and bad effect will go to him. It won't be to me. There is an apple. I have a knife. Cut an apple. Eat it. Did the knife cut that apple or I cut that apple? I cut that apple with knife as an instrument. Knife is a tool. Similarly, I am the doer. Jivatma is the doer. Whether it is papa, punya, hand, leg or whatever it is, people who also initiate me, instigate me, trigger me, they all can only be tools and they cannot be the doers. I am the doer. Karta shastrarthavatvat. The Shastras must be effective, must be meaningful. Shastras to be meaningful, I must be decided as the doer. If I am not the doer, take this instance. Shastras must prescribe to whom then? Suppose God who created me is the doer and he does everything. Instead of advising me, the Vedas must advise God. Whenever you create good ones. Don't create bad ones. So don't prescribe me, don't advise me that behave good. Please advise God, create good. If you advise him and he creates good ones, which never happens, because Vedas do not advise God, they only advise me. When they advise me, then it is understood that I am the doer. Karta shastrarthavatvat. When I am the doer, can I do on my own? Who pushes me to do? There is this triad, sattva, rajas and tamas, which are so embedded in my body. The raw material to create this body is Panchabhuta. Prithivi, Apu, Tejasu, Vayu, Akasha. This Panchabhuta is full of, it's embedded with, it is made of Sattvam, Rajas and Tamas. So when I am made of this raw material of Panchabhuta, then automatically, naturally, my whole body is with Sattvam, Rajas and Tamas. Atma is stuck in this body. Atma has taken this body as a result of his past deeds or past karma. All these karmas are accumulated. Birth and birth, birth and rebirth. I carry my karma. I not only carry my karma, I carry something else called vasana and ruchi. Vasana is imprint. I repeatedly do something. Will there not be an imprint? You keep on walking in a particular field and there is a line laid down. That's an imprint. இப்போ வயல்காட்டில் நடந்து போகிறச்சே ஒத்தையடி பாதைன்னு போடுறாளோ இல்லையோ, நடக்க 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 தான் அந்த ஒத்தையடி பாதை வரும். Similarly, my actions leave an imprint in my mind. That's known as vasana. That vasana is also carried from birth to birth. Karma is carried, vasana is carried, then ruchi. Ruchi is an urging need, is an urging inclination to do something good or bad. I can't just term as taste, because taste would be with the tongue, whereas ruchi is not with tongue. It's a taste to do. It's a trigger to do. The trigger lies in vasana. Vasana lies in karma. Karma leaves an imprint, which is vasana, and that imprint urges me to do something. That's ruchi. and these three are carried from birth to birth, millions of births. There is no beginning for these births, whereas there is certainly an end to these births. If you want to end your birth, you can. Bhakti or Sharanagati are the two ways to end births, end karma. Unless you redeem yourself of karma, you can't leave this material world. The transcendental world, Vaikuntham, the great paradise, the great, I can't name it as heaven or Swarga, it is the absolute world from where we never return at all. Nacha punaravartate, nacha punaravartate is the prescription of Shastras. One who reaches Vaikuntham never returns, never returns. So you can end your cycles of births and deaths, whereas there is no beginning. When I say there is no beginning, there is a reason to that. If you say there is a beginning, suppose I am born as birth 1. When did it happen? It happened about 12,000 years ago, for argument's sake. If you name it as 12,000 years ago, then you will have a very intriguing question. I took the first birth, then which decided that birth? Because I took that birth, I did something, I was pushed to do something else, then all these imprints, vasana, ruchi, you can continue. But which decided the day 1? Which decided the birth 1? You won't have an answer to that at all. So there is no birth number 1. It has been eternal, time immemorial, anadi. It never started. There was no beginning to birth. It will be hard to believe this fact, because all of us would expect a date that this birth began. It never. Now let me give a counter argument. Do you agree that Atma should have also begun someday? You accept that no, Atma is eternal. Will Paramatma would be born on a particular day? Paramatma is eternal. As Paramatma is eternal, Anadi, Jivatma is eternal, Anadi, his births are also eternal and Anadi. Similarly, his karma are also eternal, Anadi. Jivatma, his karma and his births are all eternal. When I say eternal, it's only Anadi. Eternal would also mean there is no end to it. I am not saying so. Of course, it is Santa. Anadi, Sa Anta. There is an Anta. There is an end, closure to it. But there is no opening to it. There is no beginning. We must try hard to complete this cycle. Once you complete, then you reach his lotus feet, from where you never return at all. Who pushes you to do these actions? I very well want to do punya, whereas I am pushed to do papa. Why? The reason being, I am laden with dehatma bhimana. Deha and atma are two different entities. This deha is material. It's made up of pancha bhuta and it is not sentient. It has no knowledge. Whereas atma is eternal, which is blessed with knowledge. I misconstrue, I misunderstand Deha and Atma to be one and the same, whereas they are not so. Deha is of a different nature, Atma is of a different nature. Atma is eternal, whereas Deha is perishable. The moment I misunderstand both, then all my actions are focused towards bringing pleasure to this Deha, as that is the only visible thing to me. Deha is visible. If I have a chair, instead of squatting on the floor, I feel more comfortable. If I have a cushioned bed, instead of sleeping on a pie, then I feel more comfortable. Yes, that comfort is very temporary. கொஞ்ச நாள் 6 மாதம் படுத்துட்டா கழுத்து வலி வந்துடும். குஷன் நன்னா இருக்குங்கிறதுக்காக படுத்துப்போம். கொஞ்ச நாளில் கழுத்து வலி வரும். இல்லை தரையே தேவையில்லைன்னு திரும்பி வந்துடுவோம். It is always good to lie flat on a very hard surface, not on a cushion, but temporarily you feel relieved when you have a cushion. Have coffee. Don't you feel very enthusiastic, very rejuvenating, reinforcing? Not at all. It never gives you any power. It's only an instant emotional attachment to that coffee. Nothing more than that. அதை சாப்பிடாட்டா என்னமோ ஒன்றுமே நடக்காது, தெய்வத்துக்கு அடுத்தது அதுதான் அப்படின்னு வச்சுருக்கோம் இல்லையோ. அப்படி இல்லை. When we go for yatra, we skip meals, but we cannot skip coffee. யாருக்காக இருந்தாலும் அவள் சொல்லிடுவா முதல்ல, நீ ஏதோ பரவாயில்ல 10 மணிக்கு சாப்பாடு போடாதீங்க, 12க்கு போடும், 1 மணிக்கு போடும், அதை பற்றிலாம் தப்பாக நினச்சிக்க மாட்டோம். ஆனால் கரெக்டாக காஃபியை மட்டும் கொடுத்துரும். 2 வேளைக்கு பதில் 3வது வேளையும் கொடுத்துட்டீங்கன்னா ரொம்ப திருப்தி. அது மாதிரி நம்ம நினச்சிட்டு இருக்கோம். ஸோ we become addicted to certain things. It is not so. These are all material body comforts. And we are not able to, since we are not able to see Atman, we are unable to do something that would bring comfort to Atman. We do many things that would give comfort to this physical body, whereas we don't do much for Atman. Whereas the book of Shastra, its angle is entirely different. It talks only about comforts for Atman and discomforts for Deha. That all those actions that you do to bring comfort for Atman can be termed as Punya. All that you do to bring comforts for Deha would be termed as Papa by Shastra, probably not by me. Whereas Shastra would term it as Papa. இதுக்கு என்ன நல்லது? ஏசி போட்டு வச்சுருப்போம். I am not able to cook for 2 days. So I had a freezer, 7 days குழம்பு, 3 days குழம்பு, 4 days கரியமுது, all saved in fridge. Can I have? Immediately Gita terms that as Tamoguna Ahara. You are not supposed to have. You cook in the morning, consume complete by evening. Cook in the evening, by night it must be consumed. Nothing should be saved. Nothing should be carried over for the next day. If you carry over, then Bhagavan carries over that Papa to your next birth. So let us not carry over. Carry forward food is a cause for carry forward Papa. யாரான அக்கௌண்டன்ட் இருந்தால் நல்லா புரிஞ்சு போடும். கேரி ஃபார்வர்ட் பண்ணாலே ஆபத்து தான். அந்தந்த இதோடு முடிச்சிடணும். இஃப் யூ ஆர் ஏபிள் டு க்ளோஸ் தட் டே, அதுக்கு தான் 10 பாத்திரமும் தேய்ச்சிடணுன்னுவா. அன்னைக்கு 10 மறுநாளைக்கு பாத்திரம் போட்டு வைக்கவே கூடாது. Clean the utensils of that day the same day. This is true when we went to school. அன்னைக்கு பாடத்தை அன்னைக்கு தான் படிக்கணும். That is true when you got married and now you cook and clean. It is the same. Whether you go to school or you lead a family, it's all the same. That day's work must be completed the same day. Now, whatever brings comfort to Atma is Punya. To Deha can be Papa. It need not be necessarily Papa. It can be Papa. Now, when I misunderstand Deha and Atma to be one, not different, to be one, then my focus is on bringing comforts to Deha, whereas unfortunately they turn to be Papa. That is why I accumulate Papa. If not, if I understand that I am totally different from this Deha, I am Jivatma, and anything would easily bring comfort to Jivatma, then my all deeds would be Punya. They are not so. We are pushed by something. Which is that? Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. My body is full of Sattva Guna, Rajo Guna, Tamo Guna. Sattva Guna brings purity of thought. Rajo Guna makes you greedy and angry. Tamo Guna leads to inertia. It makes you so lazy, carelessness, laziness, sleepiness. These are the effects of Tamo Guna. I am being pushed by all these constantly. அப்போ என்ன ஆகும்? Suppose at 5:45 I must perform Sandhya Vandana. I am lazy. I want to sleep at 6:15. I slept. I skipped at 5:45. I thought there was a material comfort to this body. So I didn't perform Sandhya Vandanam in time. That resulted in Papa. This is where my Tamo Gunam triggered. My Tamo Gunam pushed me to do a Papa. Similarly, I perform Shraddham. When I do Shraddham for my departed parents, then there is some carelessness. I didn't cook well, or I didn't serve well, I didn't prostrate before the Brahmanas well, I fed a Brahmana, I didn't do that well, not rightly as per the policies. All these as a result of Tamoguna, this carelessness, laziness, they also lead to Papa. So Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, Sattva Gunam mostly, predominantly leads me to Punya. Rajogunam leads me to Papa and Punya. Tamogunam of course results in Papa. So you can divide your actions in this way. 1 Punya Papa, Sattva to Punya, Rajas to Papa and Punya, Tamas to Papa alone. So these are the one that push me. They are the cause for my Papam and Punyam. Now given this introduction about my past karma, I must come to a conclusion. Let me redeem it. Why? Let me keep on accumulating it.